doing? All right, here's a 10-minute tutorial for you. We're going to do Guitar for Beginners, lesson 1. That's what we're looking at today. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at is tuning the guitar. We're looking to get our guitar in tune. Now, there are many apps and different things that you can use, but I use this little clip-on device here. I'll give you a quick rundown on how to use that. So from 1 is E, 2 is B, 3 is G, 4 is D, 5 is A, and 6 is E. Now they're all in there. That looks pretty nice. We're looking for it to go green. If it goes to the left, it needs tightening. If it goes to the right, it needs loosening. But we're looking for a nice green line. Okay, so we're nicely tuned. First thing to look for is need to get to know your guitar a little bit more. You have the strings, obviously. So what we find is when we're making reference to the strings, if I'm talking about the first string, I'll be talking about 1, that's the high E. And if I'm talking about 6, I'm talking about the low E, which is a 6th string. When it comes to the fingers, the thumb is its own entity. We have the first finger, we have the second finger, we have the third, and we have the 4th. So any of my diagrams there, you'll have a look when you download the sheet, which you can download underneath me here. When you go to my website, that's also underneath me. You'll find that that works absolutely fine. So the first thing we're going to look at is to try and play an E minor. So an E minor is, I like the E minor as a first chord because it's a rock sign. We're looking to keep the first finger and the little finger out of the way, and we're looking to put the E minor on. So the second finger, that's this one here, that sits on the 5th string, 2nd fret. These are your frets. And then the third finger sits right behind it on the 4th string, 2nd fret. And when that goes on, that makes a nice little rock sign like that. Goes on. Now what we're looking to do, a lot of people will tell you they need to push from the front, but actually the very essence of playing the guitar, in my opinion, and that's all it ever is that we squeeze from the back as well. We need to wrap the thumb around as much as we can and squeeze as hard as we can. If we were squeezing an orange, we would put it on the side and push it. We would grab hold of it and squeeze. That's what we do when the E minor goes on. So here's your E minor. We play all 6 strings from the top. And a good way as well to practice and to eliminate buzz and to get used to playing the chord is to play 1 at a time. Then if there is any buzz, you can identify it and sort it out. So that's an E minor. We now play an E. We keep things exactly the same, but we add the first finger to the 3rd string, 1st fret. And we, again, squeezing from the back, nice and strong. Okay, so you can hear the difference between the 2 chords. Here's E minor, and here's E. Okay, cool. Now we look at an A minor is what we're looking at now. Now an A minor chord, we take this shape. Now this is the important thing. We've got these 3 fingers here, and what we're trying to do is to move them all down a string. So we've now moved that shape down. So if I just zoom in a little bit, we've got the shape there. We're looking to move it down, but we don't want to move it 1, 2, 3. We want, if we can, to keep it all together and move it as one unit. When we're learning guitar, when we're playing guitar, the important thing, again in my opinion, is that we think lazy. What can we leave on? Well, in this case, we don't leave anything on, but everything has to move down as one shape. If we start doing that, then we'll still be doing that in 3 months. We need to try and move it. A good tip for this sometimes is to just stick a plectrum very loosely at what I call your invisible glue points. The invisible glue point where you glue the fingers together. There's a little invisible glue point there. That's where this finger sticks to that one. And there's another one here. And sometimes see if you can move the chord without dropping the plectrum, because it means that it's stuck together good and strong. So we've gone to A minor. And then the 4th chord in the sequence is a C. And again, we're thinking lazy. What can we leave on? Well, in this case, when you look at your diagram, the 1st finger can stay on. The 2nd finger can stay on. The only one that's got to move is the 3rd, and it moves from here across to the 5th string, 3rd fret for a C there. Now you may find as we move that, the 2nd finger goes with it. That's fine, as long as it stays within the gap of the fret. If you try and keep it where it is, sometimes you can end up with something that looks a bit like that, and that's painful. So the C, sometimes we'll take the second finger with it. There's your C. Now on the C, we don't want to play the bottom E string. So a good way sometimes of doing that and getting in early is to, if we can, bring the thumb round and just rest it against the string. So it just deadens ever so slightly there. And when we play, we only want the 5 strings that we're playing. If we have the E in the background, we get that horrible donging sound, which is fine, but when we start strumming, it's nasty. Okay, so we've got 4 chords to play about with: E minor, E, A minor and C. Now a good way sometimes of practicing those is to just move them 1 strum at a time. I play a little game sometimes called 4 chords in 5 seconds. If you've got a clock on the wall, you can use that. You can get someone with a stopwatch, but you've got 5 seconds to play those 4 chords, and you can have the E minor already on, so you can cheat a little bit. We're looking to play an E minor, move the finger on, move the whole thing down, move up to C. E minor, E, A minor, C, until we can do it. We now have a look at the frets, and we're playing a little pattern here which I like to call a caterpillar. And what we do with that is you can see the neck of the guitar there, and that corresponds to the diagram that's underneath. And all we're doing is on the frets there, when we see the tab, we're just playing 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4 on the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So we start on the 6th string on the bottom E, 1, 2, 3, 4, move up, 1, 2, 3, 4, move up, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a good finger exercise. You can come backwards as well if you want to. So that's what we're looking at in lesson 1. So what we've covered today is we've covered tuning the guitar using the tuner. We've discovered that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strings. Also discovered that we have frets that go right up to, well, they go actually up to 24, 22, 24 on various guitars. But here, these are your frets, the gaps in between the strings. We know what your frets are. We know what the fingers are. 1, 2, 3, 4. No thumb. The thumb doesn't count as 1. Too many people go 1, 2, 3, and the confusion starts. Oh no. And we're looking at 4 chords: E minor, E, A minor, and C. Sometimes a good way, as I say, 4 chords in 5 seconds, and also just get it moving. That's all we're going to do for lesson 1. We want you to go away. I want you to come back when you're ready. E minor, E, A minor, C, and then a little caterpillar routine just to get your fingers moving up and get used to picking the individual strings at this end. I will see you next time. Look after yourselves. See you soon.